One thing I did want to ask, what some of the ladies, maybe some ladies can answer. I asked a question in a poll, and I asked, what are some things that men can do? And we said outside of child rearing to really to start. What are things that we can do with the female image piece if we want to see it improve? And I want to give y'all a little back. So we're gonna go. Brandon, you're up next because I tried because I believe I'm solutions oriented. And I said, if I see some problems going happen out here, like I want to try to do something myself. And I didn't start a thing and start commenting on women looking all stuff. But I tried this in person because I was like, man, I like, I have a preference for women with natural hair, Black women with natural hair. I love seeing it. So I was in this was maybe a few years ago because I said, man, we got to start, like, if I want to see more of this in the world, I got to start praising it when I see it. So I saw a sister and I had tried commenting on like her hair, and it was like a one and done. She acted like she didn't hear me. She kept on stepping. I was like, dang, I need to. So there's got to be some other kind of way to do it. Ladies, maybe you can help me out here. Maybe if y'all can say what are some ways that men could what if we want to see more of X from our women in the world, what should we do about it? Because we can do it on an individual level, but how do we do it at a on a large scale? Go ahead, Diana.
Okay. One is affirming their daughters and affirming the women that they are. Like, yes, because a lot of times compliments can come off as like, are you trying to hit on me? Or are you just being nice? And
Hold on,
sometimes
you said affirming daughters, but we said outside of the child rearing aspect, what can men do?
Okay, well, like in the way that the women that they decide to display, or because like I noticed a trend, like even for my own husband, like all of his baby mamas are darker than me, but yeah, I'm his wife. And so like I don't know if that's just like an internal thing, or like you have to basically put your word action behind your words. So if you say you love Black women, like you should be with a plethora of Black women, not just like a specific one type of woman. But maybe that's
yeah, I don't know about that one. I mean, people have their preferences. I mean, I think that you can still love Black people and have a preference for a skin tone, but as long as you're not being colorist.
Not like we're outside of being colorist, but like the way that you display it, because like the way that you show.
I got what you're saying there. All right, thanks, Angelia.
Oh, there we go. So authenticity, and when I'm saying this, I'm saying in the sense of what your preference is, or what you're drawn to, what you're attracted to. There's nothing wrong if you have decorum, if you have tact to openly have discussions such as this and say what you're drawn to, but put the why behind it.
But what was real quick? What was you said authenticity? What was that in response to? Whose commentary was that in response to?
So, no, that was to your question. What can men do? Mm-hmm. Men can be authentic, because sometimes you have, as much as we talk about women wearing a mask, no, men can wear a mask too.
Give me a quick practical example. Can you give me a practical example of how that looks like? Like if men want to see less of the spider, I think Jay had commented something about spider eyelashes and the long fingernails. If men want to see less of that, where does authenticity play into it?
Okay, boom, authenticity. There's a difference between going out and degrading a woman that chooses to wear those versus outlining something positive in her, or saying to her in a questionable sense, like, hey, can we have a true conversation? Like, why do you choose to wear that? Find out her why, and then you can share your why. Because you may love everything about this woman, but you got turned off when you saw those spider eyelashes. Okay, why'd you get turned off? Don't just come at her and tear her down. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes men are not raising women up, this whole constructive criticism, and they're believing that, well, I just told you what I thought, so that should have helped you. No, you aren't.
So there we go. She said authenticity. I know how to do it on an individual level, because I did with my ex. When I got with my ex, she had I guess a perm, and she had extensions. I guess extensions are what make a woman's hair fuller. So I got with her. So I don't mind it at the surface level, but I think as a man gets to know a woman, he's wanting to peel back the layers and see who she is without the makeup. What's her hair like without the all the stuff that's going on there? What's happening there? And I stuck through the, where her had the press and the stuff like that. And then she started to grow out her natural hair. And then I had to stick with her when she cut off the natural hair and she had that small little mini fro. So guys, if we want to see this, with women, we gonna stick with her through the small puffy fro stage, and then she grew it out and she started to wear it natural. And then maybe I did something. I used some dark energy, and whenever she would put on, like, even when she had natural hair, she would still wear, I guess, like the wigs occasionally and the little something like a little fake ponytail. I would criticize, like, man, if you don't get that right off your head, I would say stuff like that.
But see,
just trying to encourage what I want in the world.
But
that's what I know, Latoya. It worked for me. I will say that once we ended our relationship, she went back to she always had things whenever I see her online, so that she always has that thing back in her head, but I don't like it. So I'm trying to figure out constructive ways to encourage what I want to see. We're running short on time. I'm gonna try to get these last ladies through, and then we're gonna end the recording. Go ahead, Lena.
Okay. Just going back, I guess what you were saying and what others were saying, it's just that be authentic to yourself, because you have men. Okay, if you're saying that you don't like wigs and you don't like the long nails and all this craziness, then don't date them. So you have men, they'll go back and forth because maybe the woman has a nice body, but then she wearing the blonde wigs and all this craziness, and then you're dealing with them. So you're also kind of co-signing that it's okay. So if you're having all of this that you know that you don't like, then stop dealing with the people. And then also women, just like everybody's on social media, then you got men liking all of this. So then if you're liking all of this, then the women are like, okay, well, it must be okay because they're liking it. So men have to kind of stay true to yourself and stand up. Don't like stuff. If you can't like all the blonde and pink hair and all that stuff, but then say that you don't want it from a woman. And then don't go back and forth. Don't date somebody because maybe, you ain't have none in a while, but yet and still she ain't really what you want. Stay true to yourself and date what you know that you want.
Good commentary. And I can understand how a lot of women can be confused by it. And I just said that when I met my ex, she had hair that wasn't my, and I want ladies to say that it's not that we don't like it how it looks visually, but as we really dive in and we get to know a woman, and like I said, we start to want to peel back the layers to wonder, because it's not to say that it doesn't look good, it's just to say what our main preference is. But it's just a different take, and I know it sends mixed messages of women, and I get that. So go ahead, Simone.
I wanted to answer your question, what exactly men can do. I think number one, just like the way men compliment women, because a woman will compliment a girl's dress by saying, oh my gosh, I really like your dress, versus a man will like sit there licking his lips and be like, I like that dress. And it's like, it's just a different vibe. And especially because it's very much focused on like her body versus her decisions, and making the compliments more innocent.
Go ahead, Latoya.
Okay. What I think is like from my personal experience, like I probably wore my hair natural, never pressed, no weave, no anything for years. And I did realize the difference in compliments or the approaches I got from men versus like now I'm more versatile. Like now I will throw on a wig, I will press it out, or I wear it curly, the next day or whatever. And that's on purpose, because I realized that like when I was wearing my hair in its natural state all the time, I would get compliments from men. Men would, oh hey, I like your hair. But I think it wasn't like they was trying, like they weren't like, because like how who was it? One of the ladies that just spoke just said like how a man would be like, girl, that dress, like be like that with me. Like if you interested in me, like show me, like, oh girl, I like your hair, you looking good, not just, oh hey queen, like I'm your sister. It's a different level of a compliment. Like, okay, that's cool, it's thanks, but like, if you ain't trying to holler, that's, so I guess what I'm just trying to say is like, date those kind of women, be like, show that you are attracted to those kind of women, and like, put those women on the pedestal, and other women are going to see that too. But like, I would get those those comments, and then the guy would be like, oh yeah, you look good, like your hair, and then go on and sit and talk to a girl with a weave for an hour at the bar. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm noticing that, and I'm like, okay, well, let me get me a weave.
Right.
And I do notice a difference in attention that I get from men when I'm one way versus the other. So I guess like one of the other ladies just said too, is like, okay, if that's really what you are interested in, stand with that and like actually date those women, show those women the attention, and don't waver on what you're saying you don't like, and women will learn.
Mm-hmm. There we go. Yeah, it's I don't know, and I've been guilty of that in the past too. I'm still, sometimes I'm still guilty of that because what looks good just looks good, but it's a different energy. It's just a different energy that men approach, I guess, with depending on the presentation. So, men, we got to be more intentional with how we're approaching women and things we're saying. We're gonna go to Marsha and then Kai. I almost forgot about you, but Kai's probably gonna finish this out because he didn't know how to hit the reaction. So, because we're closing in on 10 o'clock, then we're just gonna open it up. Go ahead, Marsha, and then Kai.
Yeah, I do agree with some of the ladies that, guys will say, I like women who have natural hair. But when you find out what is natural to some of them is like a girl who has curly, fine hair, loose hair, but a girl who has kinky, that strong afro look, they're not attracted to that. They're more so with the women who have the fine, curly, loose hair, or they're looking for, I want a woman with a natural body. Okay, you want a woman with a natural body, but again, you're looking at the women who are with the BBLs and the snatched, training waist. And it's like, you go to a bar or a lounge and there's a bunch of beautiful natural women with no makeup, no lashes, just natural beauties. And again, you will see the guys are standing next to the women with the BBLs and the full face makeup and the fedora hats and the skinny heels and and it's like, it's very confusing because it's like, what is natural to you? What, natural is not enhancement, that looks natural. That is not considered natural. So it's like, it's very, like you'll hear men say, well, I used to date a lot of attractive, beautiful women who were really into, buying, name brand stuff, but now I'm no longer dating those type of women. But what does that mean? So you're saying that you downgraded now that you're not dating women who are not what you consider natural beauty. So it's very confusing because it's like they say one thing, but then they date what they say they don't like because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, y'all getting mixed signals from guys. I acknowledge that. We gotta work on that. So yeah, I get it. It's a hard thing to explain. It's a hard thing to put a woman in a man's mind.